We're 2 rounds into the playoffs, and McDavid and Draisaitl are both top 4 in scoring. No surprise. But McDavid is 37th in goals, just 3 in 11 games so far. Ryan, is that McDavid due for a breakout, or is it an indication of him shifting the way he plays to give his team a better chance to win in the playoffs?
Yeah, it kind of mirrors the way some of his regular seasons have gone too, right, Gino? Like Connor McDavid decided one year to be the best goal scorer in the world, and so he did that for a year, and then, hasn't really got back to that level since. So he's shown he can score goals at a high level. I think Connor McDavid is wired to do whatever the moment calls for. And, a lot of that is making great plays and setting up his teammates. And I think he does the best he can to make that call in the moment. And more times than not, it's right. But you make a fair point. The goals are not there. They're down. The power play, I think, is part of that too, Gino. It hasn't been clicking the way it normally does. McDavid can find some goals there the odd time. So I do think there's attention to detail on the defensive side of the puck. I think we're seeing a lot of that from both Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. But when you look at that goal total, you definitely think there's room for some growth there.
All right, big picture now. The Oilers going to the series as the slim favorites. Give me one thing that makes you feel optimistic for them and one area that gives you concern about this matchup against the Stars.
Okay, optimistic. How about this? There is still room for growth, and they just won their last 2 games and didn't give up a goal. So their 5-on-5 game, has been excellent, Gino. And here they are building. They've still got room to build. So the power play can get better, the penalty kill can get better, but their 5-on-5 game is the backbone of their play right now. So room for improvement, despite the fact they're playing pretty well right now. Reason for concern? Well, think back to last year's series and drop Mikko Rantanen onto the Dallas Stars roster. This guy has shown he can be a series-changing player. They did not have this player last year. On any given night, Mikko Rantanen can affect a game every bit as much or as Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl. So their ability to handle him and limit him is going to be a big focal point for this Oiler team, and certainly a big swing in Dallas's direction this year, Gino.
As the playoffs have unfolded, Schauger, there were times the Oilers looked to be in a bit of trouble, but they pulled out of it. Knobloch, masterful adjustments. The Draisaitl line, the blue line, Skinner, huge bounce back. What's your takeaway from what you've seen from this Oilers team through the first 2 rounds?
Super shaky start. I mean, they finished the regular season. They had all these injuries, guys that hadn't played in a while, lines that weren't together, deep pairings that weren't together, guys coming back. Kane hadn't played all year. It was a mess, quite frankly, when the playoffs got started. And we all saw the way it began, right? Back-to-back losses, and everybody's kind of going, this might not be their year. Well, they steadied the ship, right? Some of it was Chris Knobloch pulling the right strings and pushing the right buttons and figuring that stuff out. He found lines that worked. But the group has been able to steady itself, and they're actually getting better and it feels like they're getting healthier as time is going on here. So it's been a shaky start, steadying the ship, a slow build, continuity built in, confidence built in. And as I said before, Gino, there's still room for growth. So from a team that felt like maybe it's not their year to, are they better than last year? And I didn't think we'd be having that conversation right now.
Yeah, who would have seen that coming? All right, give us a health update. What's the short-term word on Connor Brown, who's 3rd on the team right now with 4 goals, and the long-term word on Mattias Ekholm, who still hasn't played a single game in these playoffs?
Yeah, I probably eyeball game 5, game 6 for Mattias Ekholm, and I think it'll be a little bit need dependent. So, for example, if the Oilers are up 3-1 in the series and he's available for game 5, do you put him in that situation, or do you give him a little bit more rest and see if you can, if you've done well without him, maybe you give him that extra space. So we'll see. I think maybe in and around game 5. Practice today, Victor Arvidsson took a lot of the line rushes along with Evander Kane and Adam Henrique on that 3rd line. Connor Brown was not on the ice, as you alluded to. Now, I did see Brown after practice. He was in a suit. And Arvidsson stayed out here for quite a while and worked on some stuff. That's an indication to us that it's not a guarantee he'll be in the lineup tonight. So Connor Brown's a game-time decision. My gut on everything that I saw this morning is that Brown will be in, and he's been very good for this Oiler team, Gino. A big reason and a big contributor to that depth narrative that we've been hearing a lot about with the Oilers. He's a big part of the reason why.
All right, Schauger, this has been fun. I look forward to your comments after the game. By the way, anxious to see what the Oilers get out of Skinner. His 2 wins so far, both, as you mentioned, by shutout, but when he's given up 1, he hasn't given up less than 4. It's been a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde scenario.
Glass always half full with you. Hey, Gino?